I actually had ended up getting a blood clot in my left leg, and I had issues where the leg turned black and it was all swelled up, and I had to go to a vascular surgeon to try to get it cleared out. And they had issues where they couldn't even get into the leg because it was so occluded over and the clot was so bad. They tried to go through the bottom of the foot and they still couldn't get through. Heavy leg syndrome, legs very swelled up, not being able to walk very far, limitation with playing sports like softball or golf. I wasn't able to walk 18 holes of golf. Softball, I would have trouble running just because the heavy leg syndrome made me just feel weak.
All of the doctors that had seen him to that point had basically gotten to a state where they said, hey, look, there's nothing we can do. This is how you are. This is how it's going to be. You got to deal with it.
With my job, it could be on your feet 16, 18 hours a day. You could be mandated, 10, 12 hours a day additional with your 8-hour normal shift. They were like, I don't know how much longer you could do this with your situation with your legs, with the career field that you're in. You might have to look for something else to try to do.
It breaks my heart to think that people would just, say, there's nothing to be done.
I was ready to try anything. At this point in time, after suffering for so many years, I was ready to try whatever I had to do to be able to get a life change and feel better and just get my life back.
You had an occlusion and a lot of pressure. All those veins kind of dilated up like balloons, and then they found outflow. Okay? Now that I've relieved the pressure, the blood is preferentially going through that stent. So the other veins are still there, but they're collapsed. They're like empty balloons. What I ended up doing was going into the vein on it was your left leg, right? And we basically, he had stents in there that were like rock. Couldn't get through the stents themselves. There was lots of other veins going other places that were not kind of ending up where we wanted them to. And I basically kind of snaked a wire alongside one of those old stents, used a balloon to open up a new passage, and then stented up that new passage. The change in blood flow between this and before, I guess you could speak to 24 hours.
Like night and day from what it was from 24 hours. Within the next day, I was actually, me and my wife were walking along the waterfront for 7.5 miles, which I haven't done that in probably about 10, 15 years.
A little larger than a human hair. That's how small the wire was that I had to use to kind of get along.
It was actually a life-changing procedure. It actually made me feel better, and it's, from suffering the last 30 years to now is like a game changer.
He's resumed all of his what I would say normal activities that he hadn't been able to for decades. He's golfing with his son, he's back at work with no issues, he's wearing normal sized pants that he can put on without any delay, he's going on walks with his wife and was down in Florida recently, going for walks on the waterfront and not having to stop. I
was actually back to work within a couple days, and like nothing, I was right back. Going back to doing the same normal duties that I do, except better.
When we came out of the procedure suite, his wife Susie literally just squeezed me so tight I couldn't breathe, and that's the most affirming thing. Not an ultrasound in 3 months or anything like that, but the thank you, which at that point she didn't even know if the procedure worked. It was, thank you, you were willing to try, you were willing to do something, you at least gave us hope, was awesome. And the fact that it's worked and he's doing so well from beyond that, that's just icing on the cake.